Okay, welcome to the final guidance video for completing the course. This is session 10. It's in your workbook, page 123. You'll need the Word documents and the final PowerPoint document to go with this course, as well as the workbook. So, starting with the vocabulary, 5 words or phrases to match with their meanings on the right. As before, pause the video, do the task, put the right numbers in the right boxes here, and depending on the meaning of the words or words on the left. Okay, severe. So number 1 is the word severe. This means very bad. 2 is pressure. Pressure. This is to push hard against something. It's one of the meanings. 3 is restraint. Restraint, something that holds you back or stops something from moving. In this case, a seatbelt that stops someone from moving. Snakes. Now, you might think of the animal, snakes, but in this case it's a verb. It's something that does something. So if a vehicle drives like this, like a snake, we call that a snake. So if a car moves this way and that way, it's snakes. And finally 5, mouth to mouth. This is to blow into someone's mouth when they have stopped breathing. Missing words: call 999 if someone has severe bleeding. An ambulance man will give what they call mouth to mouth, one mouth go over another mouth if a person stops breathing. Seatbelts are very good. Restraints would have an S because we're talking about seat belts, more than one, so we might need to add an S. Restraints for keeping people in their seat. A caravan sometimes goes from side to side, so a vehicle that's being towed behind, like a caravan. Sometimes snakes from side to side when it is windy. And use pressure with your hands to stop bleeding. So we're talking about accidents here, and accidents is the next thing coming up. Okay, the next task in the workbook is on the next 4 pages, and it's called Accidents 2. We did a task previously called Accidents. We need to open up the correct Word document. So we're looking at session 10, and it's Accident 2 Interactive, and that will bring up this. So this is attached to the email that was sent, the final email, and this is the task. So we did something like this before, where you have a series of multiple choice questions, so a question with lots of different answers, similar to what you get in the test, but it's all on a Word document here. So we need to understand the question, and you need to work out what the answer might be. Now, accidents, a lot of these questions come from the theory test for car driver's book. Incidents, accidents and emergencies is session 13 in my copy. Might be slightly different in your copy. So we're looking at accidents 2, and you will need to use that or something else, your dictionaries, to work out what you think might be the right answer. And as before, multiple choice, you put in a letter in the box. You've put a capital letter, it will turn blue if correct, or if it's incorrect it will stay black. So correct is blue, incorrect it will be black. So the first one, any load that is carried on a roof rack must be A, securely fastened when driving. So make sure you've got this document open, pause the video and come back, do the task, and when you have finished, come back and we'll go through the answers. Okay, so here are the answers for accidents 2. So number 1 we have done already. Number 2, which 3 are suitable restraints for a child under 3 years? The answers were A, child seat, E. A harness. F. A baby carrier. Question 3. Your vehicle is fitted with child safety door locks. You should use these so that the children inside the car cannot open. C. The rear doors. That's the rear doors at the back. 4. You are planning to tow a caravan. Which of these will mostly help to aid the vehicle? Handling. It was one answer, and it was D. A stabilizer. So a stabilizer makes something more stable, and this is fitted to the tow bar, a metal piece at the back of the car where you can attach a caravan. 5. If a trailer swerves or snakes when you are towing, you should. So what should you do? And that is ease off the accelerator, i.e. slow down, reduce your speed. So A. 6. How can you stop a caravan snaking from side to side? So we had swerve and snakes in the last question. Again, snaking means not like the animal, but a bit like the animal, going from side to side. The answer D. Slow down very gradually. 7. You arrive at a serious motorcycle accident. The motorcyclist is unconscious, not conscious, and bleeding. So your main priorities here would be 2, and it was 3 answers. A. Try to stop the bleeding. C. Check the casualty's breathing. And F. Check the casualty's airways. 8. At an accident, a casualty is unconscious. So that word again, unconscious. Which 3 of the following should you check urgently? Okay, in theory, if you're at an accident and you are the only one that can help, it would be A. Circulation, B. Airway, and D. Breathing. Question 9. You arrive at the scene of an accident. It has just happened and someone is unconscious. Which of the following should be given urgent priority to help them? A. Clear the airway and keep it open? Yes. C. Check that they are breathing? Yes. E. Stop any heavy bleeding. So tightening any open injury where there is blood, heavy bleeding, stop the heavy bleeding with material. 10. At an accident, someone is unconscious. Your main priorities should be to 3 answers again, and it's the last 3. First of all, D. Check the airway is clear. That's the airway where their mouth is. Check it's clear. Make sure that they are breathing. You can tell if someone is breathing. Put your hand on their chest. See if they are breathing in and out. They might be unconscious, but they could still be breathing. And again, stop any bleeding. So that was like the last question. 11. You have stopped at the scene of an accident to give help. So which 3 things here should you do? They were A. Keep injured people warm and comfortable. B. Keep injured people calm by talking to them reassuringly. And E. Make sure that injured people are not left alone. Question 12. You arrive at the scene of an accident. It has just happened and someone is injured. If you are the only person to arrive at that scene of the accident, you might have to help. If this is the case, which 3 of the following should be given urgent priority? Okay, and the answers, you had 3 to choose from 6, and they were A. Stop any severe bleeding. So this is like the previous answers. Stop the severe or heavy bleeding. C. Check their breathing is okay. And F. Check or clear the airway and keep it open. So a lot of these answers are similar. They're all about what should you do if you're the only one at the scene of an accident, and often when someone is injured and not able to speak, there are things that you can do until you wait for ambulance to arrive. Question 13. At an accident, again, a casualty has stopped breathing, so this is even more serious. And you would mark two answers, and of these two answers you should have A, remove anything that is blocking the mouth, so we need to enable or make them able to breathe again, and E, keep the head tilted back as far as possible. 14. There has been an accident. The driver is suffering from shock. They're in a state of shock because they've been involved in this accident. They don't quite know where they are or what's happening. And you should, of these two, give them a drink? No. Reassure them. So talk to them and do not leave them alone. Wait for help. Call help. Wait for help to arrive. There will be better people, more qualified people that can help this injured person, this driver, than you. Ambulance, even police or fire crews. 15. You are at the scene of an accident. So these are all about being at an accident and someone is suffering from shock. Again, it's like this. You should, it's not offer them a cigarette. It's not offer them a warm drink. That's not always possible. Where would you get one from? But you can keep them warm because they could get cold. You could loosen any tight clothing. C, D and E, reassure them. So again, a lot of these answers are similar. Mouth to mouth is when you try to resuscitate someone, when you try to help someone to recover from an unconscious state. Mouth to mouth should only really be done by a qualified ambulance crew, but if in an emergency until they arrive you might have to do mouth to mouth. You probably will, this will never happen to you, but for the question, there might be one question in the theory test which asks this, so be aware that you need to clear their airway, so that's air coming into their mouth and out again. B, that's D, tilt their head back. This usually helps, that can help to get them breathing. And in E, pinch the nostrils together. These are the nostrils at the tip of the nose. Pinch them together as you put your mouth over their mouth. Again, this probably won't happen to you ever, but we need to know what would be the best answer if this comes up in the theory test. 17. When you're giving mouth to mouth, you should only stop when the casualty can breathe without help. 18. You arrive at the scene of an accident. There has been an engine fire and someone's hands and arms have been burnt. So their hands and arms burnt by fire. You should not remove anything sticking to the burn. Is C. You arrive at the scene of an accident. A pedestrian has a severe bleeding wound on their leg, although it is not broken. Two answers here. What should you do? Two answers. C. Apply firm pressure to the wound. And D. Raise the leg to lessen the bleeding. And finally, you arrive at the scene of an accident. A passenger is bleeding badly from an arm wound. What should you do? One answer. Apply pressure over the wound and raise the arm. And that's the end of accidents 2. The next page you can do in your own time because you are given the first letter of a word and you get a clue such as the letter H and a clue to warn other road users, and the answer, something that you would use that's inside your car where the driver sits, is the horn. Now all the answers are here, so like you do with the road signs, you are just putting the right word or words into the right hand side. So that's something you can do in your own time, but what we need to do now is go on to the next task in the workbook, which is about hand signals. So people, other road users and other officers and people in uniforms may give you hand signals, and these will come from the highway code. So if you have a highway code, you might get authorized persons giving signals such as police officers, people who are running school crossing patrols, and other road users, motorcyclists and even car drivers may need to use hand signals some of the time. You don't have to use them yourself, but you do need to know what the correct answers would be if this came up in the theory test. So let's look at the questions. For this, this is how it looks in the workbook, but you need to open up the thing that says, or the Word document that says Police and Hand Signals Interactive. And when you open that up, you might need to enable the content, which is here, which will help it to work. Okay, so police and hand signals. You have a question, which is the same as in the book. How will a police officer in a patrol vehicle normally get you to stop? So you're told how many answers are expected. Here it's just one answer, A, B, C or D. If you put in the correct answer, it will go blue. It needs to be a capital letter, by the way. If you put the wrong answer, like this, it will stay black. So the correct answer for number 1 is flash the headlights, indicate left, point to the left. Okay, so they are the questions. There are 10 questions in total. They're in here on the Word document. Pause the video, do the task, and then when the video starts again, we will go through all of the answers. Okay, you ready to check the answers? Question 2. There is a police car following you. The police officer flashes the headlights and points to the left. What should you do? Answer, one answer, pull up on the left. So you should pull up, pull over, pull the car over to the left. Question 3. You approach a junction. The traffic lights are not working. A police officer gives this signal, so a raised arm and hand like that. You should, one answer, D, stop at the stop line. Stop at the stop line. Question 4. The driver of the car in front is giving this arm signal. So imagine I'm the driver in the front and I am circling anti-clockwise. I'm circling my arm over and towards the road ahead. What does this mean? Okay, very rarely this would happen, but this means that the driver intends to turn left. Why would they do that? Well, that is because they realise that their indicators, their left and right indicators, are not working. Therefore, an arm signal is instead of their indicator. So the arm would need to be out of the window like this, window wound down and circling that way. And that means that they want to turn left. Question 5. Why should you make sure that you have cancelled your indicators after turning? So when your indicators are working, why would you cancel them after turning? The reason, not because of the battery, because you don't want to mislead other road users. Other road users may think you are still going to turn left further on. So it's to avoid misleading other road users. Question 6. Question 6. The driver of this car is giving an arm signal like this. What are they about to do? Well, it's exactly the same as question 4. They are about to turn left. So of these answers, B, turn to the left. Okay, some more arm signals from drivers. Question 7. You are approaching a zebra crossing when pedestrians are waiting. So zebra crossings where pedestrians are waiting. Which arm signal might you give in this situation? So we've got this, we've got that, we've just got that, or we've got that. Answer? It's A. So this, up and down, right arm up and down from the driver's viewpoint, means that you are going to slow down at the zebra crossing. Question 8. More signals. How should you give an arm signal to turn left? Well, we've had this really already. It's a circular motion like this. C. So with your right arm you go from the back and round, over and over. Not the other way, not that way. That way. That way towards the road like that. Question 9. When may you use hazard warning lights while driving? The answer was B. On a motorway or unrestricted dual carriageway to warn of a hazard ahead. And 10. When other drivers flash their headlights at you, it means they are warning you of their presence. They may use the headlights for other reasons. They might warn you about something wrong with your vehicle or an accident that they have just passed, but really they are just warning you as far as the highway code is concerned of their presence. And that completes arm signals or hand signals. And the final task that will be in your workbook, and the final thing that we're going to do in this video, is the task which is on 3 pages, starting page 132 to 134 of the workbook. You would need the AA Theory Test for Car Drivers book. It's the section on vehicle loading or accidents and vehicle loading, which in my book is section 14, and there are 20 questions that come from there, or based upon questions from here, and you will have a series of multiple choice questions, and there is a PowerPoint. This is the final PowerPoint of the course, and this was attached in the final email that I sent to you, and it's this, accidents and vehicle loading. So open that up. If you get this message, you may need to bypass and click enable content for this session. It's just a security warning. These PowerPoints are very old, so we need to enable content for this session so that the PowerPoint works. And this is how the PowerPoint will look when you've opened it up. Accidents and vehicle loading. So this is how it looks in the workbook. These are the 20 questions. Okay, and this is how you will go through it. So all the answers will appear on this PowerPoint, as you can see on the screen. Let's go through this. Let's look at the first question. You are marking one answer for question 1. You can play the sound.
At the scene of an accident, you should.
And again, you can play the answers.
Not put yourself at risk. Go to those casualties who are screaming. Pull everybody out of their vehicles. Leave vehicle engines switched on.
And with this final PowerPoint, you need to type a small x. This is a big X, this is a small x, and you'll find that if you get the correct small x in the box, when you want one answer, there'll be just one answer. One X will turn blue, and we know that that is the correct answer.
Not put yourself at risk.
Okay, so this is the final task. 20 questions in total. Pause the video now, go away, do the task, and then check the answers. And when we come back, we will just go through the answers on the screen.
You arrive at an accident. A motorcyclist is unconscious. Your first priority is the casualties.
Breathing. You are at the scene of an accident. Someone is suffering from shock. You should
loosen any tight clothing. Keep them warm. Reassure them constantly. At an accident, a small child is not breathing. When giving mouth to mouth, you should breathe.
gently. You arrive at an accident where someone is suffering from severe burns. You should
Douse the burns with cool liquid. On the motorway, the hard shoulder should be used.
when an emergency arises. For which two should you use hazard warning lights?
When you slow down quickly on a motorway because of a hazard ahead. When you have broken down. You are on a motorway. A large box falls onto the road from a lorry. The lorry does not stop. You should
Go to the next emergency telephone and inform the police. Which two things should you do when a front tyre bursts?
let the vehicle roll to a stop. Grip the steering wheel firmly. Your vehicle has a puncture on a motorway. What should you do?
Pull up on the hard shoulder. Use the emergency phone to get assistance. Which of these items should you carry in your vehicle for use in the event of an accident?
Fire extinguisher. First aid kit. Warning triangle. Before entering a tunnel, it is good advice to
Tune your radio to a local channel. Overloading your vehicle can seriously affect the
handling, steering. Who is responsible for making sure that a vehicle is not overloaded?
the driver of the vehicle. Which of these is a suitable restraint for a child under 3 years?
A child seat. Any load that is carried on a roof rack must be
securely fastened when driving. A heavy load on your roof rack will
reduce stability. Are passengers allowed to ride in a caravan that is being towed?
no, not at any time. You are towing a caravan along a motorway. The caravan begins to swerve from side to side. What should you do?
Ease off the accelerator slowly. You are driving through a tunnel. Your vehicle breaks down. What should you do?
Switch on hazard warning lights.